talk about a movie that maybe didn't have a great ending because in real life didn't really have a happy ending at all. Ted Bundy tales, extremely wicked, shockingly evil and vile.
Yep. No Oxford comma.
Hit Netflix, directed by Joe Berlinger, who also played a reporter in this movie. But starring Zac Efron, who was an executive producer, Lily Collins played Liz Kendall. It had a couple other high-profile actors in this: Jim Parsons, John Malkovich,
Haley Joel Osment.
Hell, yeah, which the first time you see him, he's like in that
Office, right?
yeah, office, or like their like lunchroom in the office, whatever. I couldn't. Even, I was like, is that Haley Joel Osment? And then I was actually pretty pumped when it was him. I was like, give him more work. I like him on Silicon Valley, so. Anyways, what'd you think of this movie? It's been kind of teased for a while. Some of the trailers got some backlash. Zac Efron, Ted Bundy, good or bad?
Yeah, and this came out of Sundance too, so there was a bit of a elevated profile for it as opposed to being a good film. And I liked Efron as Bundy. I think I didn't actually really know much about the Bundy story. I just know that he was a normal seeming, good looking, charming guy who happened to be a psychopath who murdered dozens of women, right? Efron was pretty convincing in that. He's a good looking dude. He really had that gaze, I think, that you can kind of see. It's like that guy, there's something not quite right with that guy. But you can understand why, you can definitely understand why women would swoon over him, obviously. But he just really carried himself in the movie. I thought was really well done to try and give off that vibe. I know some critics are probably like, "Oh, you're glorifying Ted Bundy by making him likable due to the performance." I don't think he's ever made likable. He's a fucking shitty dude, obviously. It's completely nuts. But due to Efron's performance, it's at least a little bit compelling.
Right. And
I liked him in the role. I really did.
Just to speak to your point, if you do like him, I think that actually works to kind of give the experience of the women who were seduced by him and who were obviously taken by him, even though he was this extremely wicked, very just this horrible dude. But he obviously was just very charming and seemed very charismatic, and that kind of made him
smart
sensation. Yeah, and obviously very intelligent. I thought Efron was great. I didn't think the movie was really that great. I thought it was okay. It kind of it had really high peaks and valleys for me. There were some moments I thought were just really good, and some I was just like, oh, God, just get to something else here.
Yeah, I think the issue is it's framed through. I think it's based off the memoir, but it's framed through the memory and perception, perspective of Liz Kendall's girlfriend, played by Lily Collins, and her grief accompanying, once Ted gets arrested. Ted's basically caught very quickly in the movie. It's really not about him committing the crimes. It's about him once he's on the radar of law enforcement, right? But her grief in the film is kind of boiled down to her moping around and staring at the TV and picking up the phone and stuff. And I thought Lily Collins was good. She's always been an actress that I've kind of been interested in. She's kind of had a weird career in the sense that she never really fully blew up. Tried to make it have more instruments, and that wasn't successful. And Warren Beatty had her in Song to Song a few years ago, but kind of been an interesting career for someone. I mean, she's the daughter of Phil Collins. She had an early entry, but weird project choices so far. But I think this was a good idea, but I don't think the script just didn't help it enough to serve the character, And you're always more interested in watching Ted, whether it's him talking to his lawyers, or I thought that when he escaped from the courtroom, I thought that was invigorating. I kind of would have liked to see him on the run a little bit more, but that's not what the movie was about. But because the movie jumped through plot points so quickly, again, the grief is just kind of we're showing the grief, and Lily Collins is doing convincingly, but I just never quite understood through the movie why she couldn't let him go. And yes, she explains at the end that she had some guilt about giving his name, but the fact that she kept it, I don't know. I just don't know if it totally came together, despite good performances and fun cameos.
Yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. And I think it was probably the times when she was talking, or when she was kind of just like moping around her apartment, feeling sad, watching the trial, crying. Haley Joel Osment's like begging her, "Oh, please don't be sad or forget this guy."
Right.
When I was probably like least engaged, but like you said, everything with Ted was very intriguing. And it really just kind of made me want to go watch the documentaries about him more than it made me kind of want to explore what's going on with Liz and everything with that.
Right.
Although, gotta be honest, I don't really like these true crime things. Like
No.
I don't fit into that fan, which is very popular now. But just doesn't appeal to me.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I watched is because it was a dramatization. It's a feature,
Right.
right? I mean, we get tons of true crime shows, podcasts, documentaries. I just couldn't care. True crime is not my thing.
Yeah.
But if you make it dramatic and try and retell the story, I'm into it. Like I didn't care about all the OJ docs. We got so many of them, but I'll watch People versus OJ, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean the Ted Bundy tapes that blew up on Netflix a few weeks ago, and
Mhm.
now they get their moment again. It's funny. I think Netflix is yet another little niche they're carving out. Is we're just doing true crime too. Making a murderer was really the first planted flag with this, alongside like Serial. But
Yep.
now it's IP in itself, serial killers and all that shit. Um, and we'll get Manson and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood soon. But yeah, as for this, I mean, I thought the movie, if it was a little shorter, maybe would have been better. But I think ultimately you just had to rework the script to try and either communicate the grief more or just go full in on Ted. They kind of just focus on the plot and went right down the middle, and it just was mediocre as a result.